Hey, welcome back to the podcast, Evil Dungeon Master Universe Podcast. I'm your host, Evil Dungeon Master Vince. It is Hump Day, middle of the week, Wednesday, November 6th. And today we're talking a little bit about Dungeons & Dragons. Well, advanced Dungeons & Dragons at that. I want to thank those that have went out and rated the podcast. We got a bunch new downloads for some reason out of nowhere. It seems the podcast got discovered somewhere on a Spotify chart, as I got a notification this morning that I was on some type of Spotify chart for leisure. I guess the podcast got thrown in there like Apple does every once in a while with their podcast. So I appreciate that, Spotify. And thank you for the new downloads and the ratings. People were enjoying it. Ask the DM at theevildm.com. Theevildm.com is my website. Buymeacoffee.com/theevildm. I was talking with someone yesterday at work, and they were saying how the thief class in 1E was kind of, left to the side when they did the updates on things. Like Unearthed Arcana gave fighters and stuff like that some new stuff, and they rearranged paladins and got cavaliers, and clerics got some new stuff, magic users got new spells. We got the Thief Acrobat, which most people did not care about because it was such a pain in the ass to even get to the class. Thief was kind of left to the side and didn't really get too much, but I remembered that Polyhedron Magazine actually did do something for updating or giving the Thief a little bit more of something, or a little something at least. And if you're not familiar, with Polyhedron Magazine was the RPGA magazine of the month, I want to say. Month, yeah. You would get it emailed. You get it mailed to you, and every month you'd have something by TSR where it had some advice on any one of the games. It had some updates. It was different from Dragon Magazine because see, the thing with Polyhedron Magazine was done by the RPGA, so it could be anybody doing anything in there as long as it was approved by TSR and the game it was supposedly for. So you have things like Garrett Gygax writing things in there. You'd have things like Frank Menser updating things, yada, yada, yada. This magazine, it wasn't really much of a magazine. It was more of a newsletter at first that morphed into a magazine. And when Wizards of the Coast took it over from TSR, they mostly focused on Star Wars stuff or D20 games, but mostly D20 Star Wars, and then they finally just kind of shelved it for a while. I don't think they ever brought it back, to be honest. Now, you can correct me on that out there if you want to, folks, because I'm not sure. I think once 4th edition era hit, it was pretty much dead. But in Polyhedron Magazine issue number 41, and you can get all these Polyhedron magazines actually on Internet Archive because they're there up, just like all the Dragon magazines, just like all the Dungeon magazines. They're all up. Nobody cares. I don't think it's illegal because it's fine. But anyway, did I say 41? Yeah, 41. Because I remembered this article because people were talking about it for a little bit when we were playing at the comic book stores and stuff like that. There was an article by Jeff Martin in Polyhedron Magazine that goes on talking about adding to the Thief. Now, it really isn't that big of a thing to add, but it is something. So we're going to go over that right now. With the publication of the Unearthed Arcana and the AD&D game was greatly expanded, fighters were given more weapons, more armor, and more weapon specializations. Clerics and magic users were blessed with a variety of new spells, but the Thief class received little attention. The poorly designed Thief Acrobat split class did not satisfy the needs of players who enjoyed running Thieves. Now, it's interesting that they actually indicated that it was a poorly designed class, which you don't see many game companies at this time period saying, well, we gave you something, but it sucked. Sorry about that. And, well, they did. So a lot of people didn't care about the Thief Acrobat, and yeah, it was in the D&D cartoon, but nobody really cared about it. Nobody, I don't know how many players even wanted to be a Thief Acrobat. It was kind of one of those classes that was a pain in the ass to actually become, and no one really cared about it. So the thief class, let's see here. Thief class is underrated and underdeveloped. The list of specific abilities need to be expanded. This would put the thief on the same level as any other player character class. Here is a list of new skills DMs might want to use in their campaigns. These skills are designed to increase the scope of the thief class and the thief's ability to contribute to a successful adventure while keeping the class simple and easy to use. Now, I don't know how useful some of these things are, but they did try to attempt to give us something. We got an appraisal or appraise. We got streetwise, ransack, and infiltrate with a bunch of percentile numbers heading up to all the way up to level 17. We got some racial adjustments for being any one of them, and from half orc all the way up to dwarf, nothing for humans, obviously. And we got some dexterity adjustments for ransack and infiltrate. And you mostly got the adjustments for racial adjustments for ransack and infiltrate. Now, appraise is the ability to determine the value of non-magical items or the group of items. A successful roll indicates that the thief has correctly determined the value of the object within, plus minus 10% of its actual worth. An unsuccessful roll means the thief has greatly underestimated or overestimated the worth of the item by 30 to 300%. So 1d10 times 30. There is a number after a slash once you get to level 14, so they'd explain it here. The number after the slash indicates the thief's chance to correctly discern something about a valuable object's origin or maker. For example, a bejeweled dagger found on an assassin's body can be traced to the court weaponsmith of a supposedly friendly kingdom. Oh, interesting. DMs have full control over the amount of information the thief is able to gather. Streetwise, you pretty much can figure it out. Ability to gather intelligence and information of general nature to use useful information on a specific topic. Yeah, you could use the Thieves already had this ability somewhat. It wasn't really a written skill. I've always used Streetwise. When you were a thief and you went into town and you were gathering information, I always let thieves gather information when it came to going into a new town because they'd have the underground eye. They would go to the Thieves Guild, things like that. But they actually made it an official skill, which starts out at 5% at level 1 with no alterations. So it is the ability to gather intelligence information of a general nature or useful information on a specific topic. DM should decrease the chance for success in the latter case if it comes to topics. The Sage Rule in the DMG, page 32, provides some helpful guidelines for adjudicating the use of this skill. See? The skill may be attempted but once on any given topic and requires 2 to 8 hours of research. So they finally made it somewhat official for a thief to do that. Ransack, well, is the ability to search an area. It takes 1 round to search an area 10 foot square. The successful roll indicates that the thief has found all objects not hidden by secret doors or similar device. For example, a gem hidden in the pillow can be found, but a scroll hidden in a specifically designed bed knob would be missed. A roll was made for every 10-foot square section searched. The number after the slash indicates the chance of the thief to find all objects within the area, even those hidden by secret doors. I don't like this one, Ransack. I really don't like because it relies on rolls. When we played old school editions such as basic D&D, OD&D, 1E, heck, even 2E for that matter, we would rely more on what you're searching. We would give the room descriptions and then we'd have the person search. Now, a lot of DMs kind of got lazy over the years and just said, roll a d6, tell me what you got, and I'll tell you what you found. I prefer people describing what they're looking for, and that makes the game a little bit more interactive other than just, I search, I got a 20, what did I find? I honestly hated that about later editions when they gave you the search skill, as everything just devolved into a whole roll, what did I find? Roll, what did I find? Oh, I beat a 17. I must have found something. I don't know, it took a lot away from the game, in my opinion. Now, Infiltrate is pretty interesting. It assumes that a thief is within 20 feet of some creature which is alert but not aware of the thief. Guarding an opening, for example, is just an example they list here. A successful roll indicates the thief has used misdirection and stealth to pass by the creature and proceed to 20 feet beyond it without being noticed. A separate roll is needed for each creature within the area. DMs may wish to modify this chance. So, Infiltrate to me is basically sneak. Hide in shadows and sneak. They just basically smashed it into one ability, Infiltrate. It's not needed, to be honest, and you have hide in shadows and you have sneak already or whatever, so we don't need Infiltrate, to be honest. I know they were trying to make the thief class a little bit better, but some of these don't really do much for the class. That's it. It was just one page called Adding to the Thief. I'll put it in the show notes on my website, theevildm.com. When I post this up, I'll give you the actual picture of what it is. It's only one page, and you can read it yourself, or you can look up Polyhedra magazine number 41. I said it was, yeah, 41, and tell me what you think about that. Have you added anything to the thief class? I mean, any abilities other than like what we have here or what I said? Because I wouldn't. There's not much you can really add to the thief. I mean, you could start adding some of the assassin abilities to him, maybe, because maybe a thief would be an assassin in a different sense. But then you have the assassin class. So, I don't know. Tell me what you think in the comments below. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this and everything else as well. Go ahead and don't forget to like the video, comment either on Spotify or YouTube. Subscribe to the channel if you're listening on YouTube. I appreciate those that listen on YouTube and try to comment all the time. That really does help out the algorithm. So with that said, I'm going to head out. Keep it original, keep it old school. Good night. God bless, and keep those AD&D fires lit. Good night.